We're live. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. My name is Ryan, and I'm here joined by Keenan.
Hello.
What's going on?
Just tracking my baseball teams and watching the draft, kind of.
Isn't that what all fantasy sports addicts are doing right now? Or
Pretty much.
The draft is winding down. Unfortunately, I was working, so I wasn't able to be part of the draft live stream. Okay. Sorry, I'm distracted because Kuzma is one of the guys I like.
This is the Lakers pick.
Trade, yeah, he's going to the Lakers. But anyways, we're just here. We're hanging out. If you're here with us and you want to join in on this hangout, sorry for those of you who joined the last one. Tom's internet died out. Big surprise there. All right. So, yeah, like I said, Keenan, I was kind of at work and missed a lot of the draft. I've been trying to keep up and get with it. Again, the Celtics took Tatum, which as a Suns fan, I was really excited about.
Yeah, because then it opened up you guys to pick next.
Right.
Because Tatum was like more of a fit pick, right? Because he's like perfect for the Celtics, but he wasn't exactly.
No, for the Suns, he's way too similar to T.J. Warren. Like, we needed the defense, and the Celtics didn't.
Yeah, sometimes it just works out like that. Like, the team right above you needs something just completely different than you, and the two players are similar enough in value that they just take the other guy, and you get your guy.
Well, that was like exactly with the whole 76ers and Boston's trade. Like, yeah, Fultz is the best player, but, the Boston's about to, max IT. They got Avery Bradley and Marcus Smart.
Yeah, and I think the NBA would have sent a hit squad after Boston if they picked Ball. What the fuck are you doing? You're ruining our profits.
Yeah, that was, the biggest no-brainer that was going to be what happened. All right, so sorry, I'm getting a text from Tom right now.
Oh, shit.
Nothing good. I don't think we're going to have Tom with us, but he was able to do his hangout, whatever. So we got Keenan and myself. We're here. We're watching the end of the first round. We're on pick 28. And I've actually been doing a lot of homework in these picks because in Josh Lloyd, Red Rock 30, so 30-team NBA Dynasty, I had number 1 pick, number 2 pick, number 23 pick, number 25, and then the first 2 picks of the second round.
So you were just looking out for some upset pick that you didn't expect, but we didn't really get that much of that.
Well, the one that really surprised me, as soon as I got home from work, I turned it on and I saw that the Bam Adebayo, however you say it, got picked at 14th, and I thought that was a big surprise.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly once you get past 10 if how many of these teams really care that much about how their pick looks.
If you got a player that you like,
5 picks the wrong guy, they get roasted. But if you're picking 15 or 20 or something,
just outside the lottery, even late lottery, it doesn't even matter.
They'll be like, "Oh, I didn't expect that pick," but you won't get Twitter blowing up I can't believe they picked this guy. We got to fire our GM. Take more risks.
I mean, the best example is. Giannis, when he was taken, 15th? Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is an interesting pick. I wonder who he is. He looks very strange looking, though. But if he was picked, 5th, everybody would freak out, want to fire their GM. But then a couple years later, they'd be like, oh, he's one of the best players in the NBA now. I guess we should have calmed down a little bit.
And then there was copycats like Toronto with Bruno Cabolo, like 2 years from being 2 years away.
Oh, that's a classic. Yeah,
But yeah,
I understand the 4 to 5 year plan, but you got to kind of get those players all coming around at the same time. If you got two players that are peaking, and then two players that are just starting to learn, they're going to hold those players back.
yeah, it's all about the timeline, which is part of why I like the Devin Booker and Kristaps Porzingis so well. Just again, the same
That definitely would
timeline.
have been a crazy combo.
Yeah, man, I honestly I got my hopes up so much for that. Like, just really.
Devin Booker is one of my favorite players in the league, and Kristaps Porzingis has really made a name for himself in terms of marketability. I didn't expect that. I didn't think he would be so charismatic, like such a. He really fits New York well, so that's maybe why New York is surprised he's on the market. But Devin Booker and Kristaps Porzingis would be really exciting.
Honestly, I really do not think that he was even on the market. I think this was all just a fucking ploy, and
No, you think Phil's
Phil
just
Jackson's just trying to like publicly play mind games with him. Like, there's no way. If this wasn't a ploy, he would have already been traded.
that's true. Phil knows best how irreplaceable star players are.
Oh, absolutely he does. And it's the Zen master just fucking trying to get through. And like we don't know what's really going on with Kristaps Porzingis. Like, I'm sorry, missing the exit interview and like taking to social media in a bike ride in fucking Central Park. That's like a big fuck you. And he doesn't really know or really respect who Phil Jackson is. I don't know.
Like you get that with Odell Beckham too. Like you never know if he's just messing around or if there's a serious problem. But with a guy that talented, he's not going anywhere. Like it's gonna work out somehow. Like, but it makes for a good story. So that's the way it is.
I bought into the story. I thought it was a pretty goddamn good story.
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead. I'm going to tweet this out. Hopefully, Tom manages to join us. But if you want to actually jump in, join this hangout, join the chat, feel free. Everybody's welcome. Just
Cubby
tweet
Knoll
it
said that
out.
that the link isn't working for him.
Again, I think maybe some people. Oh, Cubby, let me try. He might have the old link still. Let me try again, Cubby. Cubby's on our website, fantasysportsaddicts.com. Now, let me ask you this, Keenan. Does the website seem to be like loading faster and working all right now?
Yeah, I haven't had any problems. Like a little while ago, I was having trouble logging in, but I don't seem to have that issue anymore.
Okay, yeah, I had this like widget or app like called Buddy Press, where it's trying to be like more of a social media where you can add friends and there's like actually like timelines and all that. I just ended up saying fuck that. Like, I think it was interfering with the website login, the chat roll login, and this Buddy Press, and so I just got rid of that, and I think it's working quite a bit better.
You know, sometimes you can't get something off the ground, so you just gotta get out of the way.
Yeah, like I thought it was a good idea, but it was just slow and clunky when it all kind of came down to it.
Now, if you're a real basketball addict and you got dynasty drafts going, you're really starting to think about that after this draft is over. But I'm thinking most fantasy sports fans are getting ready to start watching training camp in July and get some football mocks going.
Woo! Absolutely. Like, again, we haven't done enough football. That's for sure. So we're going to be doing mock drafts. We do have leagues. We could probably get another league going if you guys are interested. But honestly, baseball, it's in that like pre-all-star game. Like you kind of know what your team is at this point.
Yeah,
And
Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous is big on baseball. Almost everybody on the site is big baseball guys.
well, I mean, especially at this time of the year, because as basketball's coming back around, the basketball guys are going to come back.
That's a good point.
Like it's just all kind of like cyclical. Like whatever's kind of drafting now, and there's no drafts. That's kind of the downtime. And honestly, Tom and I like football's our third, and it's a pretty decent third from baseball and basketball. So we don't get nearly into it as some of the addicts do. So that's kind of part of the like lack of like videos and
Doesn't
drafts.
naturally come to mind. You still have your mind on baseball and basketball. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because those are our two loves, and it's all kind of like overlaps. Because
Big
when
Suns
you're an
fan.
addict and you're in 30-team dynasties, like it never really ends. Like the championship is over, and then you're already making like preseason trades and doing draft research homework because you got 6 picks in the top 32.
The interesting thing is, if you're an Arizona guy, you're probably thinking about the Diamondbacks right now as like you didn't expect this, so you're super hyped. And then you got the Cardinals who are looking pretty good too. So maybe you're not. I don't know what your mindset would be in terms of, but in fantasy sports it's different, I guess.
Yeah, the fantasy sports is different. Obviously, I mean, the real sports comes first. I mean, that's the only reason why I'm a fantasy sports addict is just because I'm always watching sports and obsessing about sports. And, if I could have any goddamn job in the world or anything, like, I'd own a baseball team. Like, that's what I want to do. And fantasy sports is, yeah, it's a fantasy. I can kind of do that, and I enjoy it.
But even if the Suns aren't as good as the Diamondbacks or the Cardinals, you still have Devin Booker, who is one of the top fantasy sports guys. He's super exciting. So you got Devin Booker, Paul Goldschmidt, and David Johnson.
Right?
That's like the trifecta. It's pretty great right now for you guys.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, all those teams I had those players, I was pretty happy with them.
I never know what to think of Carson Palmer, though. He just keeps on trucking.
Well, when he's one of the top paid quarterbacks, like, yeah, I could retire. I can come and play 5 games and, like, break a rib and sit out and collect $24 million. Like, yeah, I'll take my chances with another concussion for that.
You buy 2 more beach houses.
I mean, again, just that kind of money, I don't know how you walk away from it.
That is the currency of the world. You can't deny it.
It really is. All right, so I'm gonna post the link to the Hangout. Do we get Cubby to join?
He said for some reason the link isn't working. I don't know why that would be. Worked fine for me.
Yeah, I don't get it.
No, technology is always bullshit.
Well, yeah, and also I kind of set this all up on the fly. Like, we had Tom, we had the live stream going, everything was great, and then the internet gods got angry.
Yeah, Tom was getting too happy. I don't know who he pissed off, but he was having too good of a time.
He was just excited that the Suns drafted Jackson.
Yeah, it's true. He was going off.
Now in that 30-team dynasty league, I got number 2 pick. I know Tom really wants it. He has number 4.
And Bronson has number 1, right?
Bronson's not in that league. I have 1 and 2.
Oh my goodness.
In the 30-team, but I traded Joel Embiid to get it.
That's ooh. Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere on the
I
site.
was chatting about it with JD quite a bit on the website because
That's
I was going back and forth on it. Like, okay, so the trade for Joel Embiid, this is all 30-team dynasty. I already had the number 2 overall pick, and I traded Joel Embiid for the number 1 overall pick. And my pick next year coming back to me because I traded that for 2 firsts and a second last year. And they ended up being the 23, 25, and 2-1. Oh, okay. Josh Hart at 30. This is one of the guys I like.
Villanova.
Yeah, going to the Jazz. That's a great fit.
Damn, the
Yeah,
Jazz are
I
looking
mean,
good. I don't know, man.
Again,
That's
talking about drafts, like it's the seniors that get taken at the end of the first or early second that actually usually become fantasy relevant, like Malcolm Brogdon.
yeah, the hype doesn't necessarily because the hype is for 2 to 3 years in the future.
Yeah,
When you're unless you're doing your dynasty, those really deep dynasty drafts that you're talking about, you can't really buy into the hype too much. Otherwise, you'll get caught in the cookie jar.
well, I mean, again, in redrafts, yeah, rookies usually aren't a smart choice because someone's going to take them more than what they're actually going to be valued.
Oh yeah, I've seen Christian McCaffrey go like 18th or something like that. That's just pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, like I mean, okay, football's a little bit different. I mean, okay, I wasn't buying any of Ezekiel Elliott last year,
But sometimes that happens.
but yeah, I mean, so it does happen, and that just fuels the hype for the next time.
But sometimes you get those hard decisions. Like I feel like Gordon Hayward has a hard decision because the Utah Jazz are still looking really good, and I don't know what the fuck the Celtics are doing. So I'm not. If I was him, it's not as easy of a decision as everybody makes it seem. But I don't know. I'm not inside his head, I suppose.
Well, especially even just thinking at it from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, there's more reasons for him to stay in Utah, and I'm sorry, like a good clean cut white kid like that, like Utah is probably the perfect place for him. Granted, Boston's a pretty close second.
Yeah, that's why it's a tough choice.
Like not trying to get into the whole like race and all that, but like your community's a big part, and like he looks like a good little Mormon kid.
He's definitely not going to cause any PR problems.
No, exactly. And I remember when they signed him last time, and it was all the talk. Well, yeah, Utah has to overpay to keep the player or the players they drafted. Well, yes, but Gordon Hayward in this day and age, yeah, he's a max player.
Like I don't think Russell Westbrook could be in Boston. I think it would be a disaster.
I would love to see that, to be honest, but
It would be fun.
I absolutely agree. Boston, yeah. I mean, he could do Brooklyn, he could do LA, like so he could do the big city and thrive
Yeah,
there. But it's just got to be the
I would
right
put him in
time.
LA. I'm surprised LA is not going after him.
Well, again, that's talk of what this whole trade that LA did with the sending Cantor and Lopez back to clear up space because they almost have the money for 2 max contract players.
Yeah, they do.
So Paul George is the given. The 1A choice is LeBron James, and the 1B choice is Westbrook in 2018.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, LeBron James, even at 33, will probably be because he's just such a presence. He's got such a he's he's been around the league and back, whereas Westbrook still has that tension around him. Like if I was playing with Westbrook, I'd feel a little tense. It's kind of the way it is. But with LeBron, I'd feel like this is I'd be super comfortable.
No,
And it's
I,
priceless.
I wouldn't be comfortable at all. I'd be on my toes and like knowing what LeBron James expects of me and just try to do everything I'm supposed to do. It's like that really hard nosed, strict boss. Like as long as I go in there, I try my best and I do what's asked of me and not make mistakes. Everything's cool.
Yeah, like LeBron will be like, I want you at this position on the court. And if you miss the shot, it's no big deal because LeBron knows. Like LeBron's been around the league, but I feel like with Westbrook, you might not get the shot at the time. Like I was in the position, I was where I was supposed to be, but Westbrook decided it was his turn to
I'm
take
going
over
to
the game.
dribble behind my back, do a 360 spin, and a fadeaway with my left hand from 25 feet.
And have 6 turnovers in the fourth quarter or something. I don't know.
Well,
It's definitely a different vibe.
I feel that way is similar with the Clippers, is why they never were able to get past the second round. It's that hero ball.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like people think that James Harden is so different, and he is, but I'm seeing signs that, like, what do you think about the Rockets thinking about moving James Harden back to shooting guard and going after, like, Chris Paul or something?
Well, I mean, if you're able to get Chris Paul, and especially to keep him from going to San Antonio, you absolutely do that.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, I, I, Chris Paul, you just gotta get if you can. Hold up, getting another beer. So I'm okay with I'm okay with that. That absolutely. I don't think it's as good of a fit as you would think.
No. I got excited.
Okay, yeah, and I get that, and I love Mike D'Antoni. Like Mike D
Yeah.
is my all-time favorite coach, and he needs to grow his goddamn mustache back. But I love 7 seconds or less. I love what he was able to do with Harden. If you get Chris Paul, you got to go for it, regardless of the situation.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I'm just a hater, but I don't want James. If I could get Chris Paul, I don't want, like, I would be happier because I don't want James Harden having to have the ball in his hands the whole game to win. Because I feel like if he could be a shooting guard and still have the ball in his hands sometimes, and still like be running to the rim for rebounds and making those step back shots that he makes and doing the little soup thing with his hands.
Well, and just being able to play off the ball in a pick and
Yeah.
roll in a late situation game.
Giving James Harden that type of freedom, I feel like would make his game more efficient. That's what I'll say. It might not be as exciting, and it might not fill the
No,
stat sheet.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'm sorry, you do like a pick and roll, but you have Harden on the weak side with the back screen, and like the whole play is actually to set him up.
And you got Eric Gordon.
Right, he's just sitting there, Brian Anderson doing the pick and pop, and Capella to clean up the glass.
I'm officially excited. I hope it happens.
Are you a Rockets fan then?
No, I'm a Grizzlies fan.
Okay. Now, Grizzlies, they were my fucking jam on 2K like for years. Like I love the way the Grizzlies play.
Yeah, they're one of the few teams left that stick to a style of play as their brand. Every team now is looking to have their players be their brand, but Grizzlies still are one of the teams with a reputation and a brand as a team of we are grit and grind, we play this way, we got our head coach, David Fizdale, you're not going to rook us. It was awesome. I love it.
I'll say this right now. Mike Conley is one of the most underrated point guards of the last decade.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I understand why, but probably because the
Because it's
point
not
guard
sexy.
position. Yeah, the point guard position is moving in a direction where everybody expects way more from their point guard than just scoring and passing.
And good defense. Like,
Mike
defense is an
Conley just gives
afterthought.
you. Yeah, exactly. Mike Conley doesn't give up on defense. He
And
doesn't.
who gives a shit about turnovers, right?
Yeah, these guys making these ridiculous, trying to make these ridiculous plays to get on the Twitter highlights. Like Mike Conley's not going to do that either. So maybe that I understand that part, but from like a basketball perspective, he's everything I want in a point guard. He's so solid, and then I can build around him, which you can build around those other guys too, and you can still win lots of games. But I don't like getting so nervous down the stretch of games where I'm like, okay, we're up 3. All we gotta do is play solid, make a couple stops, make a good pass, and we win the game. And these guys are like, these other guys just start going crazy, and I get nervous, and I don't know if I could handle it. I don't know how these guys handle some of these guys.
I mean, again, I'm used to like Nash with the greatest point guard. I mean, yeah, these last 7 years have been rough as a Suns fan, but it's true. Like, to have a good point guard and a good team and a good system, it's huge.
And they always seem to have these random stories with like guys like Zach Randolph. He's just still there.
Well, I mean, that was such a great like reclamation project too when you guys actually brought him in, and he fit perfectly with Gasol because you had two like bigs that could pass the ball goddamn really well.
Yeah, the team may not be destined for greatness in terms of their cap situation and their future with the fucking Chandler Parsons stuff, but I still
Yeah,
expect the team to be watchable for the next couple years. So I'll
and
take that year.
as a Suns fan, where it's like, okay, do you want the championship? Yes, but I'll take competitive for years and years on end over like shitty as fuck and like dysfunction, and like maybe you sneak in a championship somewhere in there.
Yeah, I don't watch all 82 games, but I still watch a good amount. I still watch 50 to 60 games a year, and I'm perfectly happy with the product that I'm given. And then I could watch the playoffs and be like, okay, what are all these other teams doing? And there's storylines there, but well, not for the next few years. There might not be, but it'll reset itself somehow. I don't know what will happen, what moves will be made, but yeah, I could watch the Grizzlies go for like the 5 seed or something. Be like, oh, because there's always an excitement. The first round matchup they play is usually exciting. So,
Well, those 4-5s are like some of the best matchups in all of the playoffs.
oh yeah, I'd rather
Like, they were my favorite ones this year.
Yeah, if the Grizzlies were like the 8 seed and they were getting like swept in the first round, that would probably leave a little more depressing aftertaste in the mouth going in from season to season. But that's not what's happening. So basically, like the experts say, going for the 4 or the 5 seed is the worst thing you could do, and it's dead to your franchise. But I disagree as a fan. I understand from like an executive point of view and attracting free agents and like, oh, this team's going nowhere, but you don't always have to be going somewhere. Sometimes you can just enjoy the team.
Absolutely. I really do love that sentiment because, again, those late Suns teams, like, yeah, they never won a championship, but by God, if I want to trade those for the goddamn world, like, and if I was a Grizzlies fan, like, I would be more than happy with that team and your situation. Like, are you going to win the championship? No. Is the team like on the like back end of the 30? Sure. But was it not fun to watch? Did you not have great players to root for?
Oh yeah, I like Marc Gasol. I like Mike Conley. I like all these guys. I like Zach
Tony
Randolph.
Allen, Vince
Tony Allen.
Carter.
Well, Tony Allen was hurt for this year's playoffs, but I still got to watch him during most of the regular season.
Well, and as if you know, like I always do the like defensive categories, all the punting. Like my favorite players are like the defensive players and the glue guys. Like one of my all time favorite player, Dennis Rodman. Like one of my close ones, Shane Battier. Like I love the defensive players. So that, I mean I love Tony Allen. Mike Conley's great. You were talking about Houston with Patrick Beverly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Patrick Bev. I can't completely forget. That's another exciting aspect to that Houston team. They have some, like if they add Chris Paul, so they have Chris Paul and Patrick Beverly. That's just a ton of grit. Those
No,
guys will fight.
if they had Chris Paul, they're losing Beverly because
Oh
I'm
goddamn, yeah,
pretty
you're right
sure
about that.
Beverly's a free agent.
Ah, so yeah,
Unfortunately,
the next contract's always bigger than the last. You're right about that.
yeah.
That's the thing about the NBA is I like the NBA, but I can never keep track of where these contracts are going. I always make mistakes when I'm projecting what the team will look like because all of a sudden, oh shit, we don't have room for this guy anymore. His salary just went up like ridiculous.
Well, I honestly like 2K helps me out in like the contracts and knowing who's going to be free agents and who has what option.
Oh yeah, you
So,
play with the GM mode or something?
yeah, I always do the GM mode and like honestly, as a fantasy sports addict, like I usually love to do the fantasy drafts with a team, and then I'll sim an entire year and try to like do the next year's draft picks, and I can see the free agents. So like that first year, like my GM, I hardly ever even play.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, there is a satisfaction to when it all comes together. You can't deny that.
Oh, absolutely not.
I've never done that because I guess I'm still new to fantasy sports. I'm like this is my third year total, my second year of baseball, and it's like
Okay.
I always thought it's like fantasy, as in build the best team possible. That isn't possible, but I guess it could also be used for like it's like a structure, so you could use it for what you're saying. But I never thought to do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, honestly, like when I was a kid, like this was 25 years ago. Let's just
You wanted to
say
run a team,
my uncle used
right?
to do fantasy baseball with the newspaper, and it was just with his kid. And like one of them would pick the American League, the other would put the National League, and they would pick their players, and they would do all the stats by hand and all that. And that was like my first exposure of like fantasy sports. And then like I used to like kind of do my own shit as a kid, like playing basketball in the driveway where it's like, yeah, Shaquille O'Neal, Jason Kidd, Michael Jordan, where I'd have like my own like team of all stars and just like play games out of my head.
Yeah.
And so and then with the video games, whenever I could do like the fantasy drafts and all that, I always did it.
Oh yeah, I do
So
that too.
I mean, it's just fun to have your favorite players all play
I
together.
get Shaq on I put Shaq on the Grizzlies. I
The-
make it so I'm Grizzlies and I pick a certain place and I pick Shaq. Oh man, great. But yeah, it's kind of like it's not the Yahoo standard 12 team draft. It's not like a 2 team draft, but it's kind of like it's that thing where the standard league has 30 teams, and your Yahoo draft has 12 teams. So your teams are about 3 times better than most teams. But your big 30-team dynasty drafts are basically saying, hey, we're going to mirror the league, and we're going to see what we would do in these GM positions. And I guess I could see that being fun to do. I've just never tried it.
No, I mean, this is my first time doing a actual 30-team dynasty. Yeah, where it mirrors it. It has the same rules. Obviously, or not obviously, because some leagues do actually do salary caps, but there's no salary cap or anything like that.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a bummer. Like, you don't want to get too real, otherwise it's not that fun.
Right. And like, yeah, there were a few like wonky draft rules, and like tanking is completely allowed. Where like I have the second pick because like I just sat my entire roster and like lost every game for like more than half the year.
Right, so if you're tanking, that means another guy probably has 2 to 3 stars, and they're trying to win right now, because that's kind of how the real league is supposed to work. Like in a
Yeah.
12-team standard, everybody has about 4 to 5 stars, but in this 30-team league, most guys have 1 to 2 stars, and then the guys that are trying to win right now will probably have 2 to 3.
And they're
And
usually older and
yeah, and then there's a couple tankers. Obviously, you can't avoid it. You're gonna
No,
have
you can't. We've gone on and on and on about like tanking and fantasy sports, and as I'm sure you've heard, and it just never ends well.
Everybody's got a different solution.
All
Even
right,
in the
so
real version.
I just got an update from Tom. He can't even find any wireless signal right now. It's a complete shit show.
So his phone is still working, but his internet's not.
Right, different, providers. I don't know. Again, if he had unlimited data, he can just hotspot from his phone because that seems to work goddamn just fine.
Yeah, I don't know how much those unlimited data things try to trick you. I'm sure there's a catch in there somewhere.
I'm sure.
Because they're available and barely anybody takes them. Most people just take the certain amount of cap, and if they go over, they pay like $30.
Yeah, we were paying like $15, but we just switched back to unlimited data.
Well, if there's 2 of you, I guess that makes sense. But from what I know, Tom is a single man.
He is. All right. So going back to the draft, who do you think was the steal of the draft?
Let's see. Let me check here. NBA draft tracker. Folks, ball, box. Where is he? Malik Monk to the Charlotte Hornets. I think he was the steal of the draft.
That's actually a really good pick. Looking at that, thinking about that, like Monk going to 11th, like 2 weeks ago, I never would have thought that.
Yeah, that's something where like the Hornets. That's like a guy the Hornets really needed too. So I feel like that's a great
especially pick. After trading Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Like I think he's a great Buddy Hield replacement. Makes sense. So yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I think I still think Bam is like the reach of the draft. 14, I was still just shocked to see that.
That seems. That's definitely a reach. It doesn't seem like a reach. That's definitely a reach. They're basically like, you know what? Whatever. Let's just take the backlash is not going to be big enough. Where, I mean, were they the Heat? That's like because the Heat have such a reputation that they're like, oh, they'll make them work. I know.
Yeah. Pat Riley, okay, someone who he's not Whiteside, but he still has a pretty similar style of gameplay. Like I could get into it. I mean, I liked Bam a lot. Like,
Whereas I feel like if somebody like the Nets or the Knicks picked that guy, like it would just be a shit show.
pretty much. I mean, in the Red Rock League, I was hoping to get him at like 23 and 25, which obviously isn't happening now.
Yeah.
Players won't want to fall that far in the draft.
In standard drafts, that doesn't happen. In auctions, that sometimes happens. Like I took Christian Yelich for $27, and I ended up trading him for Zimmerman. So it's like, it happens.
It does. I mean, auctions its own entire beast. But I mean, like a rookie draft dynasty, yeah, like, you know, if players taking 14, he's not going to fall 9 draft picks.
No, that's not happening.
Like, people don't do that much homework.
Like he'll be picked even if you don't need that guy and just trade him. Like it'll be a pick and trade thing. Like you're not gonna let that guy fall more than a few spots.
Yeah, nobody really falls that far in a dynasty. Like, yeah, there might be an occasional reach where someone like will pick 9 or 10 picks above where they were selected in the actual NBA draft. But it never works the opposite way where it's like, you know, I think all these NBA GMs and scouts, like, yeah, they probably know less than I do. And, like, here's this guy that was taking 9 picks before mine. Nah, I'm going to pass on it. That just doesn't happen.
Giles to the Trailblazers is also interesting. Because Trailblazers are making a lot of moves.
Especially because it's the Trailblazers.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that team.
Maybe it works out for them where it's like reverse curse, where it's like, hey, let's take someone who's injured and he turns out to be healthy.
That definitely happens. That happens with like offensive linemen in the NFL all the time. Guys like in the concussion protocol, signed with another team is like staple offensive on their offensive line. It's like, oh, goddamn it.
Now let me ask you this. I got the number 2 overall pick. Tom has already offered me straight up Brandon Ingram for it.
He's trading you Brandon Ingram for the number 2 pick?
He's offering it, yes.
Wow. That's surprising to me.
Okay, so you're high on Ingram then. Because he was just the number 2 pick last year.
Yeah.
So you think Ball or Jackson has a higher ceiling?
No, I think Brandon Ingram has a chance to be way better than anybody in this draft.
Really?
I don't know what Tom is thinking, personally.
So I should jump on that.
Yeah, just before he changes his mind, before he realizes what the fuck. I would not do that if I was him.
I mean, again, he had a down year, but the upside is
he was playing for the Lakers.
There.
And he's very young. I saw a lot of things that I liked.
I did too. Now, if I could use that same number 2 pick and get Otto Porter, do you like that?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't know what that guy is going to be doing.
Oh, I like this pick. The Jonah Bolden, the Australian kid at 36.
Another power forward for the Sixers?
Yeah, of course.
Jeez, man. Well, I mean, you could always use him for
It's a second-round pick.
Yeah.
They're probably still going to trade Okafor.
That's a good point. So this guy could find a bench spot.
But again, you're right. I'm not happy with because this is one of the guys I was trying to target with like my 2-1 pick. I don't like him going to Philadelphia. There's just not enough minutes for him in the forward spot.
No way.
As long as Embiid doesn't get injured.
So hypothetically, if you did keep your number 2 pick, what would you be picking?
Well, the smart choice, what I thought I was going to go into with number 2 was just Ball. Like, okay, Lonzo Ball. But the Suns, my home team, they did take Jackson. So it's really between the two of them.
Yeah, see, I see it as Lonzo Ball will be a special player in basketball. But in terms of fantasy, Lonzo Ball will be feeding the fuck out of Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram will be making all sorts of plays. Like, I just think Brandon Ingram is going to have a huge boost. In fact, I think Lonzo Ball only makes Brandon Ingram a better thing to keep to keep on your team.
I agree with that.
Hopefully, Tom's not listening. So he doesn't
no.
the offer.
He's not going to listen. Like, I could probably even get Tom to throw in a little sweetener with Brandon Ingram. Especially if I use the fact that, like, I'm already looking at an Otto Porter deal in front of me.
Throw a little feeler out there. Fleece him.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many picks did the Kings have in this draft? I swear they picked like 4 times.
Well, they had the 5, 10. They traded 10 for 15 and 20.
Okay, so they turned 2 into 3, and then they picked again. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because this is the second round. That's like me with the 6 picks. Like, I got to try to consolidate.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Well, obviously, everybody's going to have their view on it.
Yeah.
And I could look like an idiot. Brandon Ingram could be like, I don't know, it's possible. I don't see it happening, but Brandon Ingram could be like, I don't like Lonzo. He's a fucking asshole.
I mean, honestly, I'm not that high on Ball or Jackson. Like, Fultz is the guy that I was all in on, which is why I traded him Embiid to get him.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, I don't like Ball either.
No, I mean, again, the guy can't take a jump shot going for his right.
They're not trusting him to shoot. It's not happening.
No, and look what good defensive like Fox did, where because of his hitch, they're able to like close off on his shot. Like, yeah, against like lesser college players, yeah, sure, he can do his little step back 25-foot jump shot. But I'm sorry, John Wall's closing that. Like Mike Conley, like.
Oh yeah, Mike Conley's attached.
He's making you go right every time.
He'll have the difference in fundamentals is just nuts. How they place their hands when they're backing up on defense makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, it does, and I understand that. I mean, that's the only reason why I made the trade, because yeah, this is a deeper draft class from like picks like 2 through 9, whatever. Take a coin flip, see who's going to be the better player.
Oh, that's definitely true.
But I still think there's a head and shoulders of like Fultz and everybody else, especially
even like Zach Collins on the Kings. Now that Boogie's gone, hey, I don't know, some value there.
Actually fits well with Cauley-Stein.
Yeah, I like it. I'm liking that right there.
I am too.
Yeah, I mean, I would stay away from the Pelicans because I don't know what the hell's going on over there. They might lose like their best facilitator and player on the wing. So I'm not sure. Did they even have I don't think they had a pick in this draft. I haven't seen them. I think they traded them.
Yeah,
No New Orleans.
I can't tell you just because, again, I've only been able to pay so much attention.
Let's see, round 2. Oh, here they are. They're picking 10th in the second round, so they're picking a couple picks, but they didn't have a first round pick.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not banking on them losing an impact player and having a rookie come in and try and fit DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis together. I think it'll be a disaster. Then again, Anthony Davis, if healthy, will get numbers regardless of the situation. But it's more Boogie Cousins I'm worried about.
Well, I'm not a fan of that pairing.
No.
Like, do I think they got a great deal on Boogie Cousins? Absolutely. Like, what they gave up to get Boogie, you do all day.
Oh, yeah.
But do I think it makes your team necessarily better? No, because it's just like it was rotating between like, okay, who's going to have a huge game? Okay, Unibrow one day, Boogie the next.
Yeah, they were alternating like 41 and like 14 or something. The next day, the next guy would be like 38 and 12. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it was just like one or the other. And trust me, I know this because Tom has both of them on his dynasty teams.
Both of them. That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. And so he was obviously way upset about the trade.
I think there was actually a public league where that happened to me too. I had the swing pick in like a 10-team league, and everybody was scared that Anthony Davis was going to be hurt, so he fell in like a public league, which is ridiculous, but it's a public league, so it happened.
I can see it.
I picked Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins. But that's not going to happen, and I don't know how he got it that way in his dynasty league. It must have been some sort of trade, right?
And unashamed tanking. This is why Tommy is known as Tommy the Tank.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
I mean, because again, I think he ended up with like Wiggins, Parker, Boogie, Davis, Karl Anthony Towns.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, again, he was trading off like his best players to get these young picks and like tanking at the same time.
That's crazy.
Again, that's kind of what I'm doing in the Red Rock 30-team Dynasty League. Like, the only reason why I traded Embiid, he could be the number one player in fantasy. Or he could be the next Greg Oden. And he could be anywhere in between. And I just felt that, the risk, like, give me the number one pick overall, a pick back that I control, that I can guarantee would be a top 5, and a 2020 pick. Like, I'm okay with that, especially with the team that I had.
Yeah, that's enough where you could, like, even if Joel Embiid
is the number one, I still can build a good enough team around that to, like, be fine.
Yeah, and then if Joel Embiid can't keep it together or is somehow stifled or injured, then you're jumping for joy. You're throwing out woos everywhere.
Exactly, and I think that's kind of what it really came down to. Like, yeah, can I lose this lead? or this trade, I probably will. But I have a bigger potential to come out a hell of a lot higher than I would otherwise. Like, give me the number 1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz. I'm happy with that.
Plus,
Give me
more picks equal more fun.
yeah.
I'd rather have more picks and have more flexibility on my team than being nervous watching every Sixers game while I'm trying to have fun playing fantasy basketball. I don't blame you at all. That's why I don't draft Le'Veon Bell. It's just like I don't know what I'm gonna get.
Oh, we got Jose with us.
Oh, sweet.
There's one league last year in football where I got David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell as my 1-2 picks.
Oh, it definitely worked out last year.
Oh yeah, like I lost like 1, maybe 2 games, and that was like the first 4 weeks when Bell was out, and then like a bye week where I had everybody out. But other than that, like I just fucking crushed everybody. Like, are you kidding me? Bell and Johnson, like it doesn't even matter who else I put in the goddamn lineup.
No, those are like those 2 guys are probably worth 2 wide receivers if they get all the production that is possible.
And they did.
Yeah, and they did. And Bruce Arians doesn't sound like he's wavering at all. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got a solid team. Are you going to, cut it back a little bit with David Johnson?" He's like, "No, he's a young man. He can handle it." I'm like, "All right." I guess that's the number 1 pick then.
Yeah. So David Johnson's your number 1 pick.
I think David Johnson is the number 1 pick. My number 1 pick is Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
Because I'm just a huge fan of that. And also, Larry Fitzgerald's still playing, so he's going to get a lot of targets. Whereas, I don't even trust Dez to get solid targets on that offense. I just think they're going to pound like crazy.
I mean, with the sophomore quarterback and a great offensive line. And
I think 2-3 games into the season, Dak Prescott is going to be like, "Oh shit, defense has changed their schemes. What do I mean, I'm sure he'll be all right. I'm sure he'll be fine, but he'll be like, "Oh, good thing I have Zeke here," and then it'll go like that. Whereas I feel like a guy like Julio Jones is more of a question mark.
I agree with that. I mean, really, like, yeah, for me, like 1A, 1B, Johnson and Elliott.
Totally.
And then Bell is a third. Like, the running backs are coming back.
Yeah, you got the Bell. You got the Bell Tower. But the thing is, without Kyle Shanahan, I don't even know if I want to draft a running back like Tevin Coleman or something. I don't know if he'll be used in the same way that he was as a super value pick last year.
Yeah.
But like
again, he's still ranked really high.
Yeah. So you got those role running backs that everybody's like, "Oh wow, running backs are back. Let me take those guys." But to me, it's only like those top 3 to 5 running backs that are just going to almost no doubt give you the production that I would be comfortable taking.
Okay.
Because it's still a passer's league to me. I'm not buying this.
It is, but I mean that's why the top running backs are so valuable and they're at the very top, because it is that running backs league, and there's no point to going off and spinning for one of these like not in the top tier. Like, okay, Gurley, he's kind of that in between the top tier and like you got Coleman and I don't even know after the top tier.
They got Coleman and Freeman.
Yeah.
Who are on the same team, by the way.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't even know. Like, how do you even do that? Because it's the fucking Falcons.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. And the Panthers are completely redoing their offensive game plan. So they drafted Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuel, and they have Jonathan Stewart still there. He's still playing, by
He's
the way.
always going to be poaching fucking touchdowns.
Yeah, Jonathan Stewart and Greg Olsen get like almost all the touchdowns on that team. And if Calvin Benjamin comes back, there's another target you have to compete with. And if I'm Panthers, why would I run Christian McCaffrey up the nose through the tackles on the goal line? He's going to get crushed. Fuck that. I wouldn't do that.
No, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want my team to do that.
Exactly. So it's like so I just have a lot of disagreements with some of the that's going to happen with Yahoo rankings, but even with like the consensus rankings from like addicts or actual users, some of the hype I don't agree with.
Oh, we got Jose joining us.
Sweet.
We got a little feedback there, Jose, but welcome. I like the trophy husband T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm trying to let me fix this noise. I don't know how to do it. I never did it before.
It's just being back in the microphone. I'm gonna mute you for a sec. All right, so I muted Jose. We got Jose with us. This is great. I mean, this is what like these FSAA meetings are supposed to be about. And this is kind of what we want to do, where it's just like, okay, we're all here, we're all hanging out, we're just watching whatever sporting events happens to be on, and we're all kind of talking about, our teams are just fantasy sports.
Addicts, not experts.
Addicts, not experts. We got our wives doing shit in the background. That happens. Anyways, Jose, you're with us.
You gotta unmute him.
Yeah, let him get his shit situated. Hopefully he can get his headset working properly, because I think that was the problem.
Oh, it wasn't connected. Okay.
It's like feed him right back in.
Wow.
Now, let me ask you, Keenan, with the number 2, okay, you still think I should trade the pick for Brandon Ingram? Just
yes.
Fuck it, do it.
Just do it.
Straight up number 2 for Ingram.
Yeah.
And if I can get a sweetener like a second-round pick or a 2019 first-round pick or something
More
like
power
that.
to you, but I wouldn't play hardball. I'd try and get it. I would
as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and make Tom rethink his decision. What I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, Tom's all in on Jackson going to the Suns, and I've already sold him that the 3rd pick of the team, like, because he has 4th pick, he's going to take Jackson. Like, okay. I've already got that from him.
Yeah, he did seem quite excited.
So I got to use that to my advantage. Okay. Now, if I can get Ingram in 4th and, like, maybe give him, like, my 2 second-round picks or a 2020 pick, I should try to do that. I'll figure something out that works.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
All right, we lost Jose. Jose joined us for a second and left. We're at pick 43. The German prospect Isaiah Hardenstein still hasn't been picking. I'm a little surprised.
The Jazz took another fucking center.
Okay.
The Jazz took Bryant from Indiana.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Which is interesting. I guess they're trying to build around Gobert. Maybe they I don't know. Some moves they made me think that they think they can keep Hayward, and I guess with their 2nd-round pick they're going to try and get some backup just in case.
Makes sense.
Yeah. You don't want to be fucked out of a window.
Or humped off of the stage. Well, I just want to throw it out there again. If you're doing fantasy sports, check out our website, FantasySportsAddicts.com. We like to go live, have hangouts, watch sporting events. It's all good fun.
Yeah, going to be a lot of hangouts during the time in between basketball ending and football starting.
No, we don't. We're caught up in baseball.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to have a lot of baseball hangouts because it's the only thing going on.
Woo!
So if you look up fantasy sports and you guys are riding the baseball, it's going to come up in the search.
Absolutely. Well, Keenan, I always do appreciate and enjoy you hanging out on the site. Hopefully the website, FantasySportsAddicts.com, working a little better now.
Yeah, it's all good for me.
Sweet. All right. Well, I think I'll probably go ahead and call it a night.
All right. Shout out to JD Balla.
Woo, JD. Now, let me ask you, Keenan, you know the Fantasy Sports Serenity Prayer to take us home?
I only know part of it.
If you don't know it, just make up the rest of it because I forget it all the time.
All right.
Take us home.
Fantasy gods.
Fantasy gods.
Grant me the serenity to set my ideal lineups. The courage to add drop
aggressively.
And the courage of my convictions to trade the number 2 pick for fucking Brandon Ingram. Yeah!
Woo! All right, that was an A+ prayer, let me tell you. I love it.
Yeah, I got the first part, and then
No, and then to take it with what we were talking about.
Yeah, I went topical.
Absolutely, I do that all the goddamn time.
All
right, Keenan, thank you. Again, FantasySportsAddicts.com. Thanks, Keenan. Check us out on Twitter at FS, the word double, the letter A, at FSAA. Woo!
Woo!
All right.